Welcome back. President Trump's increasingly erratic behavior has vexed almost everyone but his most ardent followers. And that erratic behavior seems to be fueling a growing number of potential primary bids against President Trump. Former Massachusetts governor and 2016 Libertarian VP nominee Bill Weld, he threw his hat in the ring months ago. And we've heard speculation, whispers and winks and nudges of others, too, like former governors Mark Sanford and John Kasich, former Senator Jeff Flake, former Congressman Joe Walsh. And then there's Anthony Scaramucci, President Trump's communications director for all of 11 days in 2017. Now, Scaramucci has publicly turned against the president this summer, and he's asking Republicans to do the same. He's not saying he's running for president, but it sounds like he's trying to create the conditions to get somebody to challenge the president. Joining me now is Anthony Scaramucci. He is the director and managing partner of Skybridge Capital and, of course, a former Trump supporter. Hello, sir.
Hey, Chuck, it's good to be here. I'm running for re-election in my marriage, Chuck, so I won't be running for president. But, unfortunately for me, they're like one-day terms. So I don't know what your marriage is like, but I'm running every day. So, but you got a very
The best thing about my marriage is I don't talk about it in front of the camera because that'll get me in trouble. It probably gets you in trouble, too.
Well, good for you. I mean, I probably have term limits on my one-day terms. But anyway, I'm not running for president. But what I am doing is I'm going to put a coalition together to help the Republican Party re-engineer itself in time because we're watching a full-blown meltdown of the President of the United States. I'm actually sorry to see it, and it's nothing personal to him.
Yeah, but let me stop you there.
We've got to change pitchers here. He's pitched 6 good innings, but he's all over the place in the 7th inning. We're going to lose the game.
That's an interesting way you put it there, and I want to unpack that a moment. But I guess there's some people that are skeptical of your turn on this because what you're seeing now, a lot of other people saw a long time ago. I got to play your opening minutes as communications director for him. Let me play it.
I think he's got some of the best political instincts in the world and perhaps in history. I love the president, and I'm very, very loyal to the president. And I love the mission that the president has. The president has really good karma, okay? And the world turns back to him. He's genuinely a wonderful human being. I've seen this guy throw a dead spiral through a tire. I've seen him at Madison Square Garden with a top coat on. He's standing in the key, and he's hitting foul shots and swishing them, okay? He sinks 3-foot putts. I don't see this guy as a guy that's ever under siege. This is a very, very competitive person. I think the policies are fantastic. I think he's done a phenomenal job.
That was you, July of 17. And we're hearing you now. I know. Yeah, go. I do. Go ahead.
Let me respond to that. So let me go word by word in there. Loving the president. Still love the president. Again, this is not personal to him. I did see him hit clutch things. I was giving some examples of things that I saw him do that were in the clutch. And by the way, he has great political instincts. You can't go from being a reality television star.
Does he still at 40? All right, but at 40% approval.
But wait, you're not listening, Chuck. You're talking about 2017. At that time, he was 6 months into his presidency, and he had just slayed 18 or 19 people who were establishment politicians. And so you have to look at it like a presidential historian would look at it. He went from being a reality television star to the American presidency in 17 months. That's pretty good instincts prima facie. The problem is, as president, the last 2 years as president, he has been melting down like a nuclear reactor. The last 3 weeks as president, I'm very shocked that my fellow Republicans that are in elected positions, that are in senior leadership in Washington, are not coming to a microphone and saying, okay, this is not sustainable.
Why?
He's breaking
What's
the global
your explanation?
Alliance. I'm sorry?
What's your explanation? Because I know you can talk to these people. I know you have talked to them privately. What do they tell you?
So what they're basically saying is 3 things. It's all cognitive dissonance. I'm trying to help the situation by being on the inside. I'm trying to help the situation by trying to put a lid on it. You know the president's personality. If you say one syllable out of place for the president, he goes bonkers on you on Twitter. I don't want to be primaried. It's this sort of stuff. But I'm asking people in the Republican Party to step above their personal self-interest and leap up into the words of patriotism and move and ask for the president to take a step back now. He has totally and completely lost it. There's nobody that can look at the situation, read the tweets, look at the press sprays, and say he hasn't lost it. He's now calling.
What does that mean, lost it, by the way, in your mind? When you say lost it,
I think
define
he's
that.
having a full-blown mental breakdown on the job. I think he's recognizing that he's stuck at 40, on his way to 36, on his way to 20. I think he realizes that he totally miscalculated and blew the Xi trading situation. He totally underestimated the president of China, and he totally overplayed his hand. And so they're locked in. Remember, they starved 50 million people 50 years ago. They don't care. And so they're locked in. You guys were talking about whether they want him there or not. They may still want him there because he's so disruptive to the global alliance. Yeah. And he's fracturing the Western canon of liberal democracies that they may want him there just to create more havoc on the civilization. But Republicans, my fellow Republicans, we can't want him there. Number one, he's going to lose the election in 2020.
Yeah.
Number two, he's completely unhinged. And number three, let's just be honest, like business leaders would be, the guy is out of his realm now. It's time to take a powder. If you were the chairman of a board of a publicly traded company looking at the situation, you'd say no mas, and it's time to replace him. And then I think we win in 2020 because there are very, very good policies, but stylistically, I mean, this is like, you know,
it
Trump
sounds like
Noble.
you think he's no longer
disaster.
It sounds like you think he's totally unfit for office.
Oh, there's no question about that. He's like Captain Queeg in the scene in the Caine Mutiny where he's melting down on trial.
Well, let me ask you this.
There's no question about that. This is a fitness to serve issue.
Right. We have two mechanisms to deal with a situation like that. One is the 25th Amendment, right, which would be a pretty, and the other is impeachment. I mean, do you think we've reached those 2 points?
Well, no, I think senior leadership should go to his family members and say, listen, enough is enough. You know, he may not be in early stage dementia, but he's in full-blown early stage fascism. He's hereby decreeing. He's going after individual citizens like my wife on his Twitter account. This is not acceptable behavior in the longest-standing Republican democracy. And so senior leadership in the Republican Party, the chairwoman, Ms. McDaniel, should go to the family and say, hey, let's get him to resign before he completely embarrasses himself and he stains all of the good things that he's done. We can get him to resign and say he won for America for this period of time. Let Mike Pence take over, and then let's have a qualified election. Now, you're shaking your head because you're from Washington, but I'm not from Washington. I'm an entrepreneur, and I believe in the impossible. You're shaking your head. The White House press corps is shaking their head. No, because you guys are all thinking the same way. You're thinking about the status quo.
What I'm curious,
telling you, the status quo can't hold, Chuck. The status quo is over.
Anthony, I've been reporting on this all week about this unsustainability. In fact, I think on Wednesday almost said exactly where are the elected Republicans. Let me ask you this. You want to do a super PAC. How are you going to convince Mitch McConnell that he should publicly do what you're recommending?
Well, I like Mitch McConnell. I donated to his last re-election campaign. I think he's a very savvy guy, and I think he is making the unfortunate calculus right now. He probably personally wants to help the president, and he probably doesn't want to pull the pin on him yet because he's looking at the math and he's hoping that he can still win. But when you look at, you guys were pointing out in the last show, the cross stabs, there's virtually no way that he's going to win. Moreover, I'm going to be spending a fortune of money speaking out to suburban housewives all over the swing states. And I'm going to elicit what he did to Ted Cruz's wife, my wife, what he did to Jeb Bush's wife. This guy is a full-blown bully. And you and I both know that bullying is totally un-American. It's a horrific thing to be coming from the Oval Office.
I will say this.
Okay,
I don't disagree with what you. No. It's hard to do these satellite interviews. I wasn't trying to be rude in my interruption. But
no, please.
I hear all that. He was a bully during the primary. Why did you overlook the bully? Why did you think you did? Why do you now see in him what you see in him and you didn't see it then?
Because I'm a flawed human being. And as I wrote in the Washington Post article, well, let me just explain it. You asked the question. So I looked at the totality test and I said, wait a minute, he's going to help the people I grew up with. He's going to help the people like my dad, who was a crane operator. He's focused on a blue-collar group of people where there's been a vacuum of advocacy for those people in Washington for 35 years by the establishment. And so I was weighing the totality test, And then I did everything that people have to do when they're supporting the president. They have to go through a matrix of personal dishonesty. And for me, the red line was send him back. They said that. I wrote in the FT today, they said that to my Nana. The nativist Americans told my Nana to go back. She produced 2 World War II veterans. One was a decorated Purple Heart hero on Normandy Beach. And so enough is enough. And I'm calling on my fellow Republicans. You know enough is enough. I know enough is enough. Just admit the mistake. It's like we made a bad hiring decision as entrepreneurs, and let's replace him. We can do this, and we can do it in a comfortable way that can protect him and his family. And then we will have a fair fight in 2020. Right now, we're not going to have a fair fight. And trust me, people have called me from all over the country looking to donate into this PAC. We have to get rid of this guy because he's acting like a demagogue and he's acting like a tyrant, Chuck.
Anthony Scaramucci with some blunt talk about somebody who was a boss for a very brief period of time.
That's New York. That's New York talk.
It is New York,
brother. That's
I hear
not
you.
Washington talk.
No, it's not.
You need more New Yorkers down there, maybe right now, to fix this thing.
Come on down, Anthony. The water's can be a little warm.
No,
but,
I had
come on down.
I had my stay. I had my extended stay, Chuck. I'm good.
Fair enough. Anthony Scaramucci, I have a feeling we're going to be talking again fairly soon. Thanks very much for coming on and sharing your views. Hello, YouTubers. If you're watching this, it means you've checked out our channel, so thank you. Now do me a favor, subscribe by clicking on that button down there. Click on any of the videos to watch the latest interviews and highlights from MTP Daily and MSNBC. You can get more Beat the Press content every morning in the First Read newsletter. If you're tired of content that you don't know anything about where it came from, you don't have to have that problem with us. NBC News, MSNBC, MTP, and the Meet the Press mindset right here for you on YouTube. Subscribe now.